Hello everyone, my name is Alexander Thorns, but you can call me Sasha, and welcome to part 3 of my Mono-Water Type Continuation Nuzlocke challenge. This is the challenge where I follow Nuzlocke rules plus some personal rules to make the challenge a little bit more interesting, and try to complete every single generation of games with a Pokémon that get crowned champions being de-evolved and transferred to the next challenge with some perks from winning. Speaking of these champions, let me reintroduce you to them. Blastoise, my original starter from Pokémon Blue that managed to not only survive but be crowned champion for a second time. This beautiful turtle gets de-evolved into Squirtle, and from his first champion title, she was able to keep the move Ice Beam that I previously taught her, and from the second title I decided to give it 31 EVs in the special attack stat, because I didn't teach her any new TM, so into the IV it goes. I can add her to the team after I collect my new starter. Gyarados, also a 2-time champion in the series, she retained the Body Slam move from the first win, and being in the same case as her sister, she gets 31 IVs in attack from the second title. She'll be able to join the team after I collect the first badge. Starmie, the star Pokemon of the first run that did not renew its title on the second part, although it did have some moments. It will retain the move Thunderbolt and get de-evolved into a Staryu that's holding a Water Stone. It can shine again after the 4th gym is acquired. Tentacruel, the forgotten member of the first champion team, keeps the move Toxic and can be forgotten again after the 4th gym. And moving out of the original team, we have Slowking, the Pokemon that bot balanced to the Elite Four. It will keep the move Fire Blast and be de-evolved into a Slowpoke holding the King's Rock. And last but not least, my last hope from the previous run, Poliwrath, that will maintain the move Earthquake, as it de-evolves into a Poliwag holding the Water Stone. Both Slowpoke and Poliwag can be added after the first gym. Now we move on to the next challenge. Into the 3rd generation I'm going to be playing Pokemon Sapphire, and although the former games could be put on the easy side of Nuzlocking, Generation 3 is a completely different story. These games are notoriously hard to complete with a Type Team Nuzlocke, but I'm hopeful that my former champions, together with some new encounters that are available, got what it takes to go all the way against Steven and complete another Nuzlocke. That's it for the introduction. As always, the rules are detailed in the video description, so let's get to the video. As always, I name myself Aoi, and after climbing out of the truck my mom stuffed me in, I arrive at Littleroot Town, where after one of the best chase scenes from 2002, I'm given the option to choose a new starter for this region, and this being a water type run, I have to pick Mudkip, an honestly phenomenal Pokemon in the long run. I'm sure that part ground typing will come in handy, and let's hope he won't have the same fate as my last water ground type Pokemon. After picking up this cutie, I can introduce it to my original starter, Squirtle, that gets immediately added to the team. And after showing Brandon the power of a 2-time champion Pokemon, I can receive the Pokédex and get access to Pokeballs, meaning the run officially begins. And to kick things off, on Route 103, I managed to catch a Wingull, and soon after, at Route 102, I find the version exclusive Lotep, which gets also added to the team. After that, I can reach Petalburg City, speak with my dad, and teach Wally to catch Pokemon, which opened the way into Petalburg Woods, where I have my first encounter with Team Aqua, easily defeating it and arriving at Rustboro, the location of the first gym badge, where I have to face Roxanne and the rock types. After some preparation, the first evolution of the run occurs, because at level 14 my Lotad evolves into a Lombre. Now I am ready to face the first gym, and my Mudkip just steamrolls her team, since water beats rock, and for that I get the first badge, and my Mudkip evolves into a Marshtomp, adding some power to the squad. Right after the battle, Team Aqua decides to steal these poor guy's goods, and I make chase after them only to find out they also stole this old man's Wingull, and after defeating the Grunt and retrieving the stolen property, I met Mr. Stone that handed me a letter so I can deliver it to its son in Drew Fort, which coincidentally is the location of the next match, and after reaching a high in the old man's boat, I reach Drew Fort City and traverse to the Granite Cave so I can deliver Steven the letter and start prepping for the gym, where Brawly awaits, the fighting type specialist. While the preparations are on the way, Squirtle evolves into a War Turtle. This marks the point where I'm ready to face Brawly, and like the first gym, Wingull being a water flying type can devastate Brawly's team simply by spamming wind attack. 2 easy gyms in the bag. Now I can leave this island and make my way to Slateport City, where Team Aqua are again with their shenanigans, and after wiping the floor with their Pokemon, I can move north into Route 110, where my rival Brandon awaits for a match. This is a notoriously difficult battle, because it started Trico has already evolved into a Grovyle, a Pokemon that is sure to cause me trouble in the future, but I have to press on. Battle starts and it is normal against my War Turtle, a match that goes exactly as expected, 1 Water Gun and Noble goes down. Next comes in the threat Grovyle, which luckily at this point in the game only knows Absorb as a damaging grass type move, so 2 Ice Beams take care of the Plant Lizard, but not for free, because 2 Absorbs leave my starter at 20 HP remaining. Next and final for my rival, it's Wailmer, but Lombre can easily take care of it with a couple of bullet seeds. This fight was easy, but from now on it probably won't be. With my rival defeated, I can reach Mauville City, location of the 3rd gym challenge, and after teaching Wally a lesson of losing, I can collect my HM for Rock Smash, then start prepping for the next battle. Against Watson, the electric type specialist, a type that would definitely make me crap my pants if I didn't have a special Pokemon named Marshtomp that is part ground type, meaning it is completely immune to electric type moves and knows the stab move Mud Shot. Although not the greatest ground move, it is enough to one-shot Magnemite, Voltorb and Magneton, only taking a Sonic Boom in the process. So far, 3rd gen water types are showing their dominance. In order for me to meet my next stop on the challenge, I have to make the trek through Route 111, traverse the Fiery path into Route 113, where my Wingull evolves into a parrot. Reach Fall Harbor Town, completely skip it to make my way onto Meteor Falls, where I stumble upon Team Aqua and Team Magma having a discussion, only to learn that they intend to use the power of the meteorite to leak into the lava. I wasn't paying attention. Anyway, I learned that they are intending to advance their plans at Mount Chimney, and of course it falls onto the lap of this 10-year-old to stop them. Luckily, I got 2 championship titles under my belt, so let's give it a go. After defeating the low-level grunts, I reached the summit, where the leader Archie challenged me to a battle. For this battle, I decided to get an old 2-time champion into the team, swapping Pelipper for Magikarp that evolved into the destruction machine Gyarados. He leads with Mighty Anna, and I send out Lombre to soak up the Intimidate drop and retaliate with a fake out for some sheep damage, and guaranteed flinch. Now I can switch for Mud Stomp on a weak bite. Next turn I can fire a Mud Shot, leaving the Black Hyena at around 50% and take another bite, leaving my Exo Barrel at the same relative health. Another Mud Shot leaves my Hyena in the red, and another bite leaves my buddy at around 1/3. Next, Archie goes for a Super Potion, and I keep firing Mud Shots. Eventually, the fake Doggo gets to the red again, and so does my Mud Stomp, because of all the bite. This means I'm forced to switch into War Turtle into another bite, but an Ice Beam finishes the job. Next it's Golbat, and before I can even connect with an Ice Beam, I get tagged with a Supersonic, but War Turtle doesn't care and connects with a powerful Ice Beam. For the next turn, War Turtle takes a Wing Attack and unfortunately hits himself with Confusion, and after another Wing Attack that leaves my starter in the red, he finally slaps out of Confusion and connects with another Ice Beam for the KO. Archie's final Pokemon is Sharpedo, and with 125 base attack, this half shark is no joke. But that's why I got Gyarados with me. I can quickly pivot out War Turtle into my Sea Serpent that, after connecting the attack drop from Intimidate, takes a crit crunch for 2/3. Now, because I don't want to risk anyone taking a stab crunch, I decide to risk the biscuit and stay in with Gyarados and click Body Slam. Luckily, Sharpedo went for a Focus Energy, taking a big chunk of damage from Body Slam that gets it paralyzed, meaning that Gyarados is back, baby. With a speed drop from the para, Gyarados can guarantee outspeed and if then after a super potion, KO the Sharpedo for the victory. Gyarados saved the run there with that clutch paralyze. After collecting the meteorite, I can go down into the Jagged Pass until I arrive at Leverage Town, the location of the next gym, where I have to face Flannery, the fire specialist. And this battle goes exactly as one would expect, because Wartortle alone can defeat both Slugmas with water guns, and could take on Turkle as well if it wasn't X'd with a burn that slowly dwindled it down into the red, forcing Pelipper to finish the job with 2 more water guns. 4th gym done. Now I'm at the halfway point in the run, and our next target is our own father, Norman, at the Petalburg City. But before I make it all the way back, I have to make a detour into the fiery path again, because now that I have the 4th badge, I can use Strength out of battle, which allows me to acquire the Toxicity M. And this simple move, in combination with Protect, turns one of the hardest fights in the game into a cheese fest. Even though I can't get access to the TM for Protect at this stage of the game, I have a special Pelican that learns it by level up. Side note, Wartortle learns Protect too, but I only have it because this is a special run. On the regular standard Nuzlocke of Hoenn games, Pelipper is your best option for that cheese strat against Normans. Hence why I'm using it. I'm trying to help you guys here too. So, with all the preparations done, I challenge my father to a battle, and he leads with a Slacking, and I send out my secret weapon Pelipper, and immediately click Protect for the first time. This is part of the strategy. You see Slacking as the stats of a legendary Pokemon. To counteract those massive numbers, Game Freak gave Slacking the worst ability in the game, Truant, that forces Slacking to loaf around every other turn. This means on a loathing turn, Pelipper can connect with a Toxic and then just switch between Wing Attack and Protect until Slacking goes down, dealing 0 damage to my Fairthburn. Vigoroth is next, and after taking a slash, Pelipper connects with a Toxic, which on hindsight was a terrible idea because I just boosted his facade. But afterwards I swap Gyarados in for the Intimidate, and luckily Vigoroth clicked on Core. Next, Gyarados takes a huge chunk from a crit slash and connects with a Body Slam that can't paralyze because Vigoroth is badly poisoned. It's amazing how one mistake can fuck up a fight. Next turn, Vigoroth connects with a Facade that Gyarados luckily survived on 11 HP, and takes the Energetic Sloth down with another Body Slam. The fight isn't over yet because there is another Slacking on the way, and I have to force a switch onto Pelipper, taking a big Facade upon entering. This doesn't matter much because as long as Pelipper survives, it can connect with another Toxic and start a stall again, giving me the victory against Norman. That mistake could have gone very badly, but alas, I remain unpunished. The 5th badge isn't the only reward for victory, because now I can collect the HM for Surf, which is a massive boost to all of my team members. And I can make my way into Route 118, where I stumble upon the Weather Institute being raided by Team Aqua, and although this is an easy scramble, I can get rid of them, and I do receive a Cast Form, holding a Mystic Water, a great item for my Gyarados. But before I can reach the location of the next gym, Brandon stops me and challenges me to a fight. Battle starts, and it's Wartortle vs Normal, that you already know how it's going to end, with 1 rain boosted Surf drowning the camel. Next is Grovyle, and now that it has access to Leaf Blade, its threat meter just increased. But I have him right where I need it, because the only one that can take it on is Wartortle. I click Ice Beam and Grovyle goes for a Screech. Ice Beam deals around 2/3, and as long as Wartortle can survive a Leaf Blade, I should leave this battle unscathed. Grovyle goes for a Leaf Blade, and Wartortle survives with 25 HP, taking the Gecko out with another Ice Beam. Wailmer is the final opponent, and I switch for Lombre, taking it down with a combination of Bullet Seed. Now I can set foot in Fortress City, and after getting the Devon Scope from Stevenstone, I can clear the path and challenge the gym. Winona is a flying type expert, and luckily for me, I have 2 Pokemon that specialize in killing birds. One of them is already on the team, BDS Beaming Wartortle, and the other one became available after the first gym was acquired. That is Staryu, our shining star from the first run that after evolving with the Water Stone is ready to shock some birds. To begin the battle, Winona sends out his Swallow and I send in Starmie, immediately clicking Thunderbolt that connects through the double team for a clean one-hit KO. Next is Pelipper, and it gets fried after a Protect with a Thunderbolt, bringing in Skarmory. And after Thunderbolt leaves it with a Slither, it connects with a Sand Attack, allowing Winona to heal Skarmory with a Hyper Potion. As Starmie connects with a Confuse Ray, allowing me to bring in Wartortle on a turn that Skarmory hits himself. Next, Skarmory bypasses Confusion and it's a weak Aerial Ace, taking a big Surf in return for around 50%. And even though it snaps out of Confusion, the turn after Aerial Ace leaves Wartortle at 50% HP, another Surf drowns the Armored Bird. leaving only Altaria left, and it is right where I want it. Well, if I had to be picky, my Wartortle could be a little healthier, which is why I attached the Citrus Berry to Wartortle so it can regain some health back, and connect with an Ice Beam. On the turn Altaria goes for a Dragon Dance, leaving the Cloud Dragon at its leader, giving Winona an excuse to use another Hyper Potion, but to no avail, because after surviving an Earthquake, Altaria goes down to 2 Ice Beams. Now I can make my way on to Lily Cove City, where Brandon awaits me once more for the final battle of this challenge against him, and now I could describe the epic showdown that is the last battle against my rival, but after Wartortle defeats Swallow with an Ice Beam, my beautiful 2-time champion gets a freeze on Grovyle after surviving a Leaf Blade, which makes the rest of the battle a breeze, so not much to tell. Which means I'm free to climb Mount Pyre that's been invaded by none other than Team Aqua, and at the top I am confronted by the Archie, and upon given the chance, they steal the red orb in order to awaken the blue legendary. Is this guy daltonic? Anyway, I receive the blue orb, and after Team Aqua steals a submarine from Slateport City, I can head into their secret base and defeat all the grunts, getting a Master Ball, and Wartortle evolving in Blastoise doing the strike, and Mashtrap evolving into Swampert soon after. And let's just say, the levels on this game are so low to the point that you only get your Startle final evolution before the 7th gym, and that is crazy to me. But with Team Aqua taken care of, I can safely traverse the seas to reach the island of Moss Deep, the location of the 7th gyms against Tate and Liza, and after completing the gym puzzle, I head into battle. Tate and Liza are Psychic type specialists, and you have to face them both at the same time on a double battle. The thing is, they have a Lunatone and a Solrock, and although tough opponents to face, they are both Path Rock type, which means I can just send in both my starters, Blastoise and Swampert, and just spam Surf, since in this generation, Surf hits both opponents on the opposite side without damaging your partner. So this is an easy battle, since there isn't much they can do to stop me. Gym number 7 completed. Before I can even set foot at the final gym location, I can speak with Stevenstone and receive the Dive HM, and with this I can go into the abandoned ship next to the fort and collect the Water Stone, that allows my Lombre to reach its final evolution, turning into a Dudicolo, the key to the next gym. But first, I need to reach the climax of the Team Aqua story arc, since with Dive I can reach the Seafloor Cavern where Team Aqua found the legendary Pokémon, and after defeating the low-level Grunts and solving the puzzle, I have to face Archie for one last time. And it is Mightyena vs Blastoise once again. My buddy goes for a Surf, critting the poor hyena, sending it into an early watery grave. Next in is Crobat, which immediately goes for a Confuse Ray, making my buddy hit himself in confusion, but after taking a Wind Attack next turn, it connects with an Ice Beam for around 3/4. After that, Archie uses Super Potion and Blastoise snaps out of confusion, nailing the 4-winged bat with an Ice Beam that leaves it at what appears to be 1 HP, only for Archie to repeat the turn by using another Super Potion, allowing for Crobat to be defeated with another Ice Beam. Archie's final team member is his Sharpedo, that after missing a Screech takes a strength for about 1/3 HP. Now, because I don't want to risk a crit crunch, I decide to swap out for Ludicolo, that takes a non-crit slash on the switch, surviving with more than 50% HP left. This means I can go for a Giga Drain while hoping the next slash doesn't crit, which it doesn't, meaning that the Giga Drain defeats the Elf Shark, giving me a definitive victory over Archie. And I cannot explain to you how relieved I am to finally be done with Team Aqua and this fucking Sharpedo, forcing me to reset no less than 6 times, 4 at the Mount Pyre and another 2 right here, before I finally made it this far. After that elbow loss, Archie goes Big Brain and uses the Rare Orb to awaken the legendary Kyogre, which Kyogre is like brown color and bolts out. With Team Aqua dealt with, I can go underwater and reach Utopolis City, the location of the 8th and final gym, but obviously before that I got to do some weather control, meaning I have to enter the Cave of Origin, pick up Waterfall and use the blue orb to attract Kyogre. Use a Master Ball on it because it is a valid encounter. Remember, I'm not banning legendaries, and to be fair, the only reason why it is not joining the team is because Kyogre is a pure water type, so to keep the team with variety, I have to swap it out with Blastoise, and I am not depositing my 2-time champion's original start. Hell no. With Kyogre chilling in my box forever, I can face the 8th gym leader, Wallace, which is a water type specialist, according to him. I don't see him with the 2 league trophies using only water types. Anyway, Ludicolo is perfect for this battle, so I lead with it against Love Discs, and my local Pineapple Duck connects with 4 Blood Seeds in a row, before skillfully dodging a Sweet Kiss, and Wallace responds by using an Hyper Potion that apparently annoyed Ludicolo as much as it annoyed me, because he connects with another 4x Bullet Seed but gets crit on the last one, giving it the much deserved KO. Next up is Whiscash, and this catfish is 4x weak to grass, which it shows by surviving on a Slither after a 3-turn Bullet Seed. By the way, I'm not using Giga Drain because I only got 5 of those, so after Whiscash goes for a Rain Dance, activating my Ludicolo's Rain Dish ability, thank you very much, Ludicolo can dispatch it with another Bullet Seed. In comes Celio, and I have no reason not to keep clicking Bullet Seed, so after hitting it with a 3-timer with a crit, Celio hits a very weak Aurora Beam, meaning it goes down next turn with another Bullet Seed. Milotic is Wallace Ace, and next I have a fall-proof strategy against it. You see, Milotic is very tanky with essays to recover, so I was already expecting this portion of the fight to be very long. My plan was whittle it down with Bullet Seed, and on the turn after it hits me with Ice Beam, go for a Giga Drain, allowing Ludicolo to remain healthy and deal some damage, slowly wilting Milotic down until eventually I got a KO, so the plan worked perfectly. Gotta love to see it. With that, Wallace is defeated. Oh, there's a Seeking left, but you know the drill. With Milotic down, I can use the remaining of my Giga Drains and Bullet Seeds to officially get the 8th badge. With 8 badges in hand, I can make my way to Evergrande City, the location of the Pokémon League. And yes, technically, at the end of Victory Road, there is a climatic battle against Wally that went through his hero journey to create a strong team and reach the league. But the battle was so easy, it's not even worth it adding time to this video just for it. So, before I can challenge the Elite Four, I need to do some team adjustments, because as good as Ludicolo has been for this team, it unfortunately has no use for the Elite Four, let's be honest. He can put some work in, but I believe I can craft a better suited team for me to use in this challenge. So, in the end, I decided to use my starter Blastoise, obviously with Surf, Ice Beam, Strength and Rain Dance, holding the Never Melt Ice that I found at Shoal Cave, together with Starmie, with Surf, Thunderbolt, Psychic and Recover, holding a Magnet that I got at a Puzzle Master's house. Swampert remains on the team with Earthquake, Surf, Rock Tomb and Brick Break. It is holding a Soft Sand, and this guy has a pretty important role to fill. And the last member of the official team is a Carvanha that I caught in Route 119. Also, side note, I haven't been mentioning any catches because I believed I had a good team to run through the challenge until now. I'm very pressed for time while doing these challenges, and even though I love doing it, I will cut corners when it comes to choosing encounters. After Carvanha evolves into Sharpedo, ironic that the mon that made me reset 6 times is the key to winning the league, it knows Surf, Crunch, Swagger and Slash. It is all in the black glasses that I found near some guy, and by the rules I can have 2 more Pokemon in the final 2 slots to swap in case an official member falls in battle. And I chose a Spheal that I caught at Shoal Cave that proceeds to evolve into a Celio, then into a Rollrain, and it gives the team some bulk if needed, and Kyogre, which I shouldn't need an explanation of why I chose it. Now, with everything ready, I can finally take on the final challenge, the Elite Four. The first member is Sydney, the Dark Specialist, and I don't exactly have a better plan than hitting it until they die, so let's see what happens. Sydney leads with Mightyena and I lead with Swampert, clicking Earthquake right off the bat, getting a crit and defeating the fake wolf. Next up is Cacturne, and because I don't want to risk a Nidolarm, to which Swampert is 4 times weak, I swap for Blastoise, can take it more comfortably, but there was no need for worry because Cacturne used Cotton Spore, dropping my speed, which led into it using a Leech Seed next turn and be turned into a Popsicle with an Ice Beam. No Nidolarm, huh? That was a weird decision. Next in is Sharpedo, and because I want to shake this Leech Seed off, I swap for my own Sharpedo, creating an Honor Battle, and after taking a crunch on the switch, I can use Slash to fish out a crit, but first Sydney's Sharpedo connects with a Swagger, confusing my Shark, but it doesn't care and goes through confusion now at +2 and takes the enemy down with 1 Slash. Shiftry comes in next, and I know there's nothing threatening it can do, so I can just switch Blastoise in after several double teams and missed Ice Beams, and I can finally take it down, only taking a very weak extra sensory. Absol is Sydney's final Pokemon, and after failing a Snatch and taking 2 Surfs and surviving with the help of a Citrus Berry, Absol nails my starter with a crit slash, leaving it at low health, forcing me to switch for Swampert on a full restore. And after setting up with a scary Swords Dance, Absol takes an Earthquake for around 3/4, meaning Sydney heals again, resetting the turn, which allowed Absol to go for a slash, luckily not getting a crit, but being defeated another Earthquake. Messy battle, but I got it. Phoebe is next, and she is the reason Sharpedo is on the team, because she is a Ghost type expert and I had nothing that could reliably deal with her Pokémon, so the Dark type Sharpedo was an obvious answer. Battle starts and it's Sharpedo versus her first Dusclops, and after 3 crunches, 1 Hyper Potion and a very weak Shadow Punch, it goes down, leaving the way open for Sableye to take the field, which I nail with a Waterfall, but no flinch, and Sharpedo falls in love because of Attract. I don't want to risk the 50-50, so I swap for Swampert, taking a Shadow Ball on the switch and finishing the Gem Eater the next turn with an Earthquake. Next, Phoebe's first Bayonet appears and I swap back into my Sharpedo, taking a Shadow Ball for free, leaving my Shark at 50% HP, but it can retaliate with a super effective Crunch, which I could swear should kill, but Bayonet survives with 1 HP apparently, and retaliates with another Shadow Ball, putting my Sharpedo at 25%. And that is not ideal, but it does mean that another Outspeed and a Crunch can bring this guy down. But it forces in another Bayonet. Since I don't want to lose my new team member, I swap Blastoise in on a Shadow Ball, and after a Surf that takes 70% of Bayonet's life away, it connects with another Shadow Ball, leaving my starter at the same HP remaining. Phoebe heals with a full restore next turn, but gets slammed with another Surf, resetting the turn. This means I can outspeed it and hit it with another Surf for the KO. Leaving only its ace, a second Dusclops, which isn't a Pokemon known for his offensive prowess, but a crit could still fate my start. So I swap to my other starter, this time being Swampert, that can take a Shadow Ball, surviving with 50% HP remaining, and now I can click Earthquake, which leads Dusclops with half health, only for it to consume a health Citrus Berry, regaining some HP back, putting it above 50% again. Next, I go to click Earthquake, but I realize I was out of PP. This means I have to swap for Surf, and apparently that was a great decision because Swampert gets a crit and the victory against Phoebe. The third member of the Elite Four I have to face is Glacia, the Ice type expert. That leads with a Glalie, and I send out my Swampert for the secret strategy. You see, this Glalie really likes to use Light Scream. That can be very annoying because I was hoping to use Starmie as my trump card, because its reward Thunderbolt is my best bet at dealing with the various water types, and Light Scream kinda puts an end to this strategy. So by teaching Swampert the TM for Brick Break, I can immediately use it, and if Glalie chooses Light Scream, it will be immediately broken, which is what happens, and Glalie loses not only its Light Scream but also its life because of a Brick Break crit. Next in is Celio, and I am safe to go for Starmie and start clicking Thunderbolt, bringing it down after 3 because of a heal by Glacia's side and only taking a weak Surf in return. Next up is Glacia's second Glalie, and because I know it carries Crunch, I swap on for my Dark Resistant Sharpedo and show him what a real Crunch looks like, getting a crit, leaving the floating ice at 5%, losing those 5% to a Waterfall next turn. Glacia's second Celio takes the field, and after a Swagger for the confusion, I can swap in Starmie and just spam Thunderbolt, and spam I did because Thunderbolt deals with Celio and Glacia's ace Walrein, giving me the double. Next up on the shopping block is Drake, the Dragon type specialist, and for that I only have one answer, but it is proven to be the best answer: Blastoise with Ice Beam. That, no joke, took every single member down with one hit KO without losing much health, so yeah, the last member of the Elite Four was also the easiest. This all means that at attempt number 7 I have finally reached the Pokémon Champion Steven for a final battle. And I did it deathless, on this run at least. The Hoenn Pokémon Champion uses a team mainly focusing on steel types that starts with the Skarmory, and against the Armored Bird I send my Starmie, clicking Thunderbolt, leaving Skarmory at 5% but taking a Toxic in return, and after a full restore, Thunderbolt gets rid of the flapping airplane. Next up is Aggron, and because I want to reset this poison, I swap for Swampert, and that comes in on a failed Thunder. That wasn't a predict, but I will take full credit for it. Then Aggron gets crushed by a soft sand boosted Earthquake, opening way for Cradily, and let me intercept for a moment. After much theory crafting, I didn't find a surefire way to deal with this Giga Draining fossil, meaning that I might have to sacrifice someone in order to get over this wall. On that logic, I don't want anyone to take a Giga Drain on the switch, so I go for Earthquake, hoping I can survive a Giga Drain and be at turn so a Surf might get the KO after the regen from Giga Drain. But the regen was too much for my turret boosted Surf to get the KO, meaning that my Hoenn starter needs to make the ultimate sacrifice and take one for the team, allowing my original starter to come in for free and take the Dildo fossil down with an Ice Beam. This is a gigantic bummer. After all the work Swampert put in, Having to sacrifice him sucks, but that's part of Nuzlocking, sacrificing for a greater good. Thank you, Swampert, for all your hard work. Claydol comes in, and after a Surf that barely misses out the KO, it goes for a Light Scream, a very annoying move, especially after losing my Swampert, that reduces the damage of my Surf drastically. But to waste a turn and get a little boost in damage, I can use Rain Dance next turn, where Steven used the full restore. Usually this is annoying, but in this scenario I actually like it, because it allows the waste of more turns before Steven's ace comes in. Fate had other plans for me, because the next Surf crits, ignoring the light screen and KOing Claydol. This allows Metagross, his ace, to come in while being protected by Light Scream. This all results in my weather boosted Stab Surf dealing less damage than Metagross Earthquake, which deals around 30%. This results in Blastoise taking another Earthquake, leaving Blastoise at 1/3 health, and the retaliating Surf dealing another 20% damage, leaving Metagross at 40%. But a health Citrus Berry heals it up. However, Light Scream wears off, and now Blastoise is standing in the rain with Torrent Boost ready to fire a Stab Surf that deals the finishing blow to Metagross. With Metagross defeated, the battle is won because Steven's final Pokemon is an Armaldo, a slow rock type that falls to a single Surf. With that, I completed the third part of my Mono-Water Continuation Lock by being crowned Hoenn Reagion Pokémon Champion, and what a run this was. For me, definitely harder than the previous two parts, but so much fun to do and theory crafting around, allowing me to demonstrate to you guys a tiny bit of the strategies that are possible in Pokemon, and other reasons why I love this game so much. And with this completion comes new rewards for some winners and a new introduction to the podium, because with its third straight win in a row, the starter of it all, Blastoise gets another title, and without a new TM to be taught, I'm going to give it 31 points in its speed stat. Starmie collects his second win of the challenge, and for that gets to keep its favorite move in Psychic, meaning Skarmory is capped on passable moves. And the new introduction to the roster of champions, we have Sharpedo that will carry out Swampert's legacy and the Hoenn's region representation on its back. Because I didn't teach it any TM, it will receive 31 points in its attack to increase its future power. This Pokemon, along with the other champions, are to be devolved and proceed to the next challenge. So, where will part 4 be? You might be thinking the Sinnoh region, but I have other plans. There is another series of games in a third generation, and they are the Kanto remakes, Leaf Green and Fire Red, and that's where I'll be going next. To home, to the Kanto region, where I'm going to take my champions back and see if the gameplay updates were successful on making Kanto a more challenging Nuzlocke. That's all for this video. Let me just say thank you all for watching. Remember to leave a comment with your thoughts and some constructive criticism if you have it. With that, remember to never stop being yourselves, and peace.